dropping a couch vlog. I'm live. I just got done watching Royal Rumble. Don't ask me how I watched it. But anyway, nobody tells you. Remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying for you guys and gals. Hopefully that you guys and gals are having a wonderful day. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, the Take It Home Podcast, where I talk about professional wrestling topics. And I'm putting my matches as classic out for professional wrestler of 13 years. In March, it'll be 14 years in this business. And I thank God for giving me this opportunity. Yes, He did, Raphael. God bless you. I hope all is well. So make sure you look at the matches and also the content as well. Also, subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling. That is me and my wife's professional wrestling company. We have our next show next month. Well, next month is what, like tomorrow? But February 21st, Big Business, BIG Business in Dyer, Indiana, Harold's private venue. Tickets are on sale now on Eventbrite. They're $5 off, but there'll be $5 more at the door. Also, we're also getting ready for our second show of the year, which will be May 23rd, called 20. It'll be our 20th show in C3's history. So when we get the details for that, we're going to make sure you can get your tickets and get your info about that as well. Um, Royal Rumble 2026. I did watch it. I was off today. Uh, didn't have much to do. No, I was interested. I was like, okay, if I can find a way to watch it, I guess I'll watch it. I tried to catch up with some of the clips that I saw yesterday. Some of it was interested, and some of it was feel like I didn't really miss nothing. I did feel like I could just watch Royal Rumble and stuff. So like from now on, if I do find interest in a PLE, I'll probably do that. If not, I'll just watch it a day later or whatever like that. But I was curious about the Royal Rumble because I did want to see if they had returns or they had debuts or anything crazy happened. So I did watch it. So here's the review. I'm not going to go into every detail, who eliminated who and all of that, but here we go. Starts off with the let's talk about the arena. The arena looks nice, right? I know that they showed some on SmackDown and stuff. I like the castle and all that other stuff, temple. I liked how they looked. I thought it was very, very creative. I wish something in America would get something like that. I know that we usually get like big stages and platforms and stuff like that, but the whole thing, like even Dragon Lee's entrance, how the dragon came through and like stayed and he like came out the dragon's mouth. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty good stage. It was great. Some of the people had concerns about it being empty from what it looked like. Now, when I looked at it from what my screen was showing, it did look like they had lights in front of some of the fans. It had some lights in front of the fans, and I do think that some fans were not there. I don't know, especially in the women's match. Now, I do know that they feel a certain way about certain things with women. There's speculation that some went to go pray because they have to go pray. I don't know because I'm not out there, and I don't know what they're accustomed to with certain things. But it did look like some of these people were behind those lights. Some lights did look dim. Some were bright, and it was kind of distracting too because it did look like a lot of people wasn't there. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody was there or whatever like that. I'm not going to sit here and say I freeze framed and pause each scene and be like, look, a person behind the light. I'm not going to do that. But still, even then, it did look appealing. Eventually, WWE, especially during AJ and Gunther's match, they zoomed in more on the ring action instead of the wide shot. They usually do the wide shot for multi-people matches like Royal Rumbles and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll do that for singles matches as well. But yeah, it just didn't look good. I think the lighting was really bad. And I do think that some people wasn't there or whatever. They didn't say it was a sold out event. And then to my knowledge, they didn't say anything about a record setting, whatever. But it is what it is. Stuff happens. I mean, I know some people get mad when people say, "Oh, well, why do you bring up empty arenas, or why are y'all talking about the tarped areas and stuff like that? Why can't you enjoy wrestling?" It's because some of it is tribalism and some of it is reality, right? If let's say, for example, Tony says it's where the best wrestle and nobody's in the arena, and then we see it, then that means that nobody cares that the best wrestle there. So that means you have to do something different, right? So that's just like the same thing, even with WWE. If you're supposed to be the number one wrestling company, which they are, you're supposed to have standing room only or sold out seats. You don't do standing room. You're supposed to have these kind of things. To me, empty arenas don't really mean much to me. Only when it's at C3 bars. Like, I want people to show up, and like I said, we've been doing great with chairs and seatings and pulling out chairs and stuff like that. So I do understand from a business standpoint the concern, but for fan standpoint, I guess it's a good talking point. Women's Royal Rumble happened. First two people were Charlotte and Alexa. They teased that they were going to eliminate each other, and then they decide to be friends, and Alexa hopped on Charlotte's back, and they waited for somebody else to come out. I don't even remember who came out after that. I do remember eventually Lash Legend came out, Nia Jax came out, the Poison Pixie, Arshawn's favorite female wrestler. I'm just kidding. Shout out to Arshawn and Clearly drinking. I don't want to say it wasn't bad of a Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble. It just wasn't the best. Highlights: Lash Legend, Lash Legend killing it. Like I thought Lash Legend did a great job. I thought Raquel did a great job. Um, a lot of reactions from the wrestling crowd. Like Rhea was like one of the highest pops for the women coming out. No, Rhea and Brie Bella. Brie Bella showed up and returned, and that was a shocker for people because of the comments that her husband had said, and even certain things that she said about WWE, even her sister. But still, Brie coming back with her bomb song. That song is so dope. Brie Mo. Anyway, it's so dope. Big chants, yes chants for her and her husband, because of the yes movement and things like that. But I do want to speak about Rhea's pop. Now, for a very, very tight knit crowd that women should not like, you can't dress certain ways or whatever like that. Boy, they was losing their mind and their religion for Rhea Ripley. But anyway, still, it was great. EL reminded me of Cat Mario. Remember, if you Super Mario 3D World, you can get the cat outfit. That's what it reminded me of. A lot of the women, because they had to be covered, for the policies and stuff for Saudi Arabia, they all look like Power Ranger villains, right? They was like, I'll get you teenage kids. I'm going to take over you guys and, take away your schools. But anyway, it was great. Like I said, it was great showing. So Ruka, she did great. Tiffany Stratton came in at number 30. A lot of people thought that Bianca Belair was going to return, and Bianca did not return. They said that Bianca was there. It must have been a serious hand or finger injury that she has, and I do hope she becomes 100% with that, because this was since like last year's WrestleMania, and I know she did like referee Jade Cargill and Naomi's match, and maybe it made it worse, or maybe it was just a test to see if she could like be active with it. So I don't know. Hopefully it's like better. A lot of people are going a little down a dark and weird path with it, talking about, oh, you might as well go have a baby. Like leave these people alone, man. Sometimes this is these people's life and stuff like that, and sometimes you do have to put your health over everything else. So, a lot of people will be like, dang, it's just a finger. But I'm like, if it was broken in multiple places, including in the joint, yeah, man, you want to make sure it's 100%, right? So those are also things to think about too. They didn't really have like celebrities, neither one of them, or just random people. They had people from like NXT and AAA and all of this other stuff, which is dope. It's all owned by WWE, so I don't really have a problem with that. One thing I did find funny was JC Jane. She's the NXT Women's Champion. She eliminated Kalani Jordan, who's in NXT, and JC told Kalani, she was like, "Hey, you don't belong here. Go back to NXT." Like, JC, you are the NXT Women's Champion. You're going to go back to NXT as well. So I did think that was very, very funny. Lash did a great job. They had her eliminating. She eliminated Rhea. Did she eliminate the Bella Twins? She did big things. And I was just so happy because, a lot of us seen what Lash can do in NXT. And I think that they did a great job. But then when she got eliminated, it was just, who was it? It was Tiffany, it was Liv, and then it was Tiffany, Liv, and Sol Ruka. Oh, the crowd didn't like her. We knew that was gonna happen. They was overrated chance. They was giving Lash Legend overrated. And I want to make a separate video about her and even Trick Williams, because I even know that AJ Francis, formerly known as Top Dollar in WWE, he spoke about like people who are not fans of Trick Williams. It was like, you either an idiot or you're racist and stuff. I do want to speak about it because I do want to break that down. And I think I'll put like Lash Legend in it. Now, like I said, sometimes you just don't like people. And sometimes it's just like maybe you just don't want them to win, right? And I think sometimes that's the thing as well. Sometimes you just don't want somebody to win because you don't like them. It's just part of the things or whatever. Good guy, bad guy, whatever. But they did not like her. It was a lot of women that got little to no reaction too, by the way. Like when they got a reaction, they got a reaction. But when they didn't get one, They didn't get one. Selena Vega got no reaction, no reaction at all. And I don't know if that was because they was upset with her attire or what. She had the full bodysuit like everybody else on, but she put her like wrestling trunks or drawers or whatever she wrestling in over it. And I was like, yeah, y'all testing it. And then what's the other name? Vice, Lola Vice, that's her name. You know, she was doing a little twerk there. I was like, hey, you better stop. They don't be playing out there. They don't be playing them games out there. You got to be careful with that. But still, they like Chelsea Green and stuff like that. They thought it was creative and how she was on her assistant's back. Why am I Alba Fire? Is that her? How they did that? They did some creative stuff with like athletic stuff. Soruka did the Soul Snatcher a couple times. She did a double one and then she did one by itself. It was pretty good. I thought it was good. I thought it was just good. I don't want to say pretty good. I thought it was good. The winner was Liv. All three women, Soul, Liv, and Tiffany, they were out because Soul took both of them and threw them over, and they threw her over after she gave them the double Soul Snatcher. Then eventually, I don't know what they was trying to portray Soul to do. I don't know if Soul was trying to do another Soul Snatcher, but it looked dumb because as soon as she jumped up, Tiffany pushed her ankle, and her ankle made a trajectory to her to be eliminated. And then Liv did an Oblivion. Really wasn't an Oblivion. It was a reverse STO. She just jumped and threw her, and Liv won. And Liv was emotional, and people clapped and stuff because people like Liv. I'm not like disappointed or upset that Liv won. I just it would have been cool if somebody else knew, like who never won the championship would have won. I would have thought that would have been like a little better. I know that Liv is a multi-time champion. I know she's coming back from injury and stuff like that. I understand that and things like that. And not saying that she don't deserve it and stuff. She's got things. She's won a lot of accolades, but it wouldn't have hurt to see a Soul Ruka or Lash Legend or somebody else like new win it. Like let somebody new win it. You know, just doesn't always have to be solidified with main eventers or people that you can go in, you know, to and fro. You know, she eliminated Raquel, and Raquel was looking crazy, and then I thought like Raquel was going to be involved in how the other two women got eliminated, just how they played it off, but she didn't. Like I said, it was a good one. It wasn't the best one, but it was a good one for the most part. Second match, Gunther versus AJ Styles. If AJ leaves, if he loses, he leaves WWE. Now some people saying his WWE career is over. Some people are saying his wrestling career is over. Michael Cole said one thing, Gunther said another. Standard Gunther match. And when I say that, I don't mean to say it as disrespect. I thought it was a good match for what it was supposed to be. Gunther is a bully and stuff like that. And then AJ started targeting the leg and started showing the speed and everything like that. And Styles clashes and power bombs and getting out of sleeper holds. And I remember AJ had the calf crusher on Gunther, and Gunther like transitioned it to the sleeper hold. I thought it was good. I think AJ had Gunther in the sleeper for a bit. It was interesting. I like how this can go. Liv took out Rock, who has been feuding with Steph. Could end up with a triple threat of Rock getting taken out of JD. I hope it's not a triple threat because we saw a triple threat last year. And I get sick of the triple threat stuff because people incorporate themselves and stuff like that. We don't need to. I called Rhea Ripley a Karen last year because basically she lost against Io, so it should have been Io versus Bianca. It shouldn't have had a third person. But Rhea kept coming in and attacking both of them and stuff, and then they all started being involved in people's matches. So then it was like, okay, how about this? We're just gonna do a triple threat. I don't like that when it comes to like the WrestleMania thing, right? Like I liked when they did it for like Rey Mysterio and stuff, but still, I don't like that kind of situation when it's a constant. So I don't want to see a triple threat. Now, titles can change between now and WrestleMania. Elimination Chamber's coming up next. So still, AJ picked those. Yeah, he did. The match, it was good. I mean, to me, I like old school standard Gunther matches because it's believable. I think both of them did great. AJ tried to fight and get out of the sleeper. Eventually, he was close to getting to the ropes, and then Gunther pulled him back. While he was putting him in the sleeper, the referee dang that was crying. He said the referee is good friends with AJ. It was to the point to where the referee was yelling, "AJ, AJ, are you okay?" AJ he like tapped AJ's arm and it didn't move, and that was the end of the match. Now, some people are. I will say this too about the referee. The referee did a spot to where we knew that AJ was going to kick out because I believe it was the power bomb spot. Gunther power bombed AJ, and when the ref was doing the pin, he said 1, 2, and then AJ was going to kick out. But I guess I don't know if he was just into the match. I don't know. But still, small things like that could cause big problems in the future when you look at that. But other than that, they said the referee was AJ's friend or whatever. And some people were upset that AJ, his arm didn't get raised 3 times. And sometimes you don't have to do that. See, what we're trying to sell is we're trying to sell reality, right? So, like, if you're in a chokehold, right, in a sleeper hold, which could actually kill you because you're losing oxygen to your brain, you know, doing that 3 times, those 3 seconds or 3 times it does it, it can provide further damage. So to show and to project reality, sometimes you can do it that way. I wasn't mad at that per se. So people shocked, show people upset and sad and things like that. AJ woke up and came to and said, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" Referee said you out. Everybody clapping, they loving AJ. AJ's emotional. He takes his P1 gloves off, you know, the P1 that he just trademarked for whatever reason he's going to use it for. He acted like he was going to put his gloves in the middle of the ring, and then the crowd was like, "No, no, no, no." And then, like, he did try to do it again. "No, no, no." Then he put them on, and they went crazy. He did his P1 stance on each side, and he left. So he's not wrestling for WWE anymore, allegedly. Now, some people speculate he's going to go to TNA and basically finish his career there because he said that 2026 he wanted to be his final year. I know a lot of people expected him to have like to be here for a while, but when they went against Gunther, they was like play the saxophone that was playing in the Boys and Hood movie before Ricky got up out of there. And I think that's just what it is. I think that he probably will sign to a TNA contract to help them for a bit, and then he may just leave. Now, if he goes to AEW, that'll be kind of sucky, but it is what it is. We're looking at wrestlers say they're either taking mental breaks or they're just going to spend time with their family. Then 2 days later, they're showing up to AEW. I don't want to say it's played out because get your money, but still, you know, just a big storyline the way it is. And then now to just show up somewhere else is just something, it's crazy. But it is what it is. You know, AJ has spent more time in WWE than TNA, and that was crazy in itself. AJ was the face of TNA, and then he was the face that run the place in WWE for a bit. Like I said, I remember AJ Styles in TNA and Impact, and people talked about him. I think he was the champ or the X Division champ at the time, and he's killing it. He's improved from TNA to WWE with microphone, promo abilities, because at one point in TNA, definitely was not his strong suit, and he definitely improved. So sky's the limit. We'll see what they'll do with AJ Styles. With Gunther, like I said, Gunther don't need to face any more legends or whatever like that. I mean, I know that's his stint to be the career killer, but y'all can have him go against other guys who are upset that he's beating and retiring heroes. How dare y'all retire Goldberg? You won't say Goldberg because people don't like Goldberg, but you can say John Cena, you can say AJ Styles. 2 guys who are faces of the companies that they were champions in. AJ, I accept triple threats is how they keep champs from getting pinned. Yeah, but it becomes too obvious. It becomes too obvious sometimes because it's just like, okay, because yeah, it becomes very obvious, and that's just what it is. It's just a consistent thing. Or favorites, sure, yeah. Next match was Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed #1 WWE belt of the world. Low key, the match wasn't bad, but it was sort of like the previous match. It was like the same format. They couldn't change the order because they usually do the women's Royal Rumble at the beginning and then the main is the men one. But it was the same format. I wasn't mad at the match or whatever like that. And I also do want to apologize to you guys because I said that they faced each other before and I said that Sammy won. I was wrong. It was actually Drew who won the multiple times, but it was the same match. I do remember it basically was the same match for each PLE they wrestled on. So I do apologize for that. They said that he was 0-11 against Drew McIntyre. So then they also said, oh, Sammy never lost in Saudi Arabia, and they love him and stuff like that. The crowd went crazy for Sammy. Great match, great moments. Drew was slapping him, saying, go back to your kid, go back to your kid, go back to your kid, stay down. And then Sami Zayn hulked up and stuff. And there was some moments with the haluva kicks and all of that stuff. It was a solid match. It was a very, very solid match. Drew gave him a Claymore, and then before he pinned him, he wanted to give him another one. He was like, yeah, look at me, look at me. And as soon as Sammy turned around, hit him with another Claymore. Solid match. It was like the second match. Big bully guy beating up the guy that's supposed to overcome the odds of anything to have something great. And then and like I said, it wasn't bad match. It's just the aesthetic of basically having the same matches, except two guys have two different finishes. The Grim Sleeper. Low-key, he should use that. The Grim Sleeper. Sammy Drew went on about 7 minutes too long. Crowd even fell off. I think they probably figured out what was going to happen and stuff like that. They went outside and did certain things and all of that stuff. It didn't have to drag that much. There was only 4 matches, and honestly, obviously the Royal Rumble match is going to be an hour in itself. But still, even then, I knew that they wanted to keep the match long because they know that they love Sammy out there, and I think that they didn't want to quote unquote cheat the fans. So, like I said, my theory is Sami Zayn is going to have his WrestleMania moment in Saudi Arabia next year. He's Muslim. He speaks their native Arabic tongue. He does these things. The crowd still loves him and stuff like that. So, like I said, they're going to do a either redemption arc, or he's going to go from the end of the line to the top of the food chain against the champion. Hey, some people feel a certain way about Sammy. Like, if y'all should have gave it to Sammy, y'all should have gave it to Sammy. Like I said, I'm not upset if Sammy becomes a champion, but like I said, it shows the hypocrisy in WWE about certain things. It's bad enough that people say that they don't make big stars, but not only that, you're sowing seeds and sowing time into guys who are established guys without even the belt. So you can have these guys. Just literally had Roman Reigns yesterday speak about, hey, they need to build new stars, which goes into this main event too, by the way. And you're gonna invest in Sammy as long as the fans invest in Sammy, unless The Rock wants to come back and face Sammy, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But still, it is what it is. Main event time. Royal Rumble. So we know that yesterday it was a spoiler for Braun was supposed to be first, and they accidentally put the wrong graphic up. So eventually they changed it to the fact that they had a little thing where Paul talked to what's his name, Adam Pearce, saying why is Braun Breaker number 2? Why are you doing that? You want an FAFO, Adam? Okay, you want the FAFO, Paul, or whatever like that. We need to talk. So basically they did switch it. First person comes out, Obafemi, aka Broba Femi, the ruler. Yo daddy is here. He's here. I love that the crowd was hooting and grunting with him. They were saying, but. And I'm going to speak about the fans in another video too. I got a lot of stuff we got to speak about. I'm going to speak about the fans in another video, but still, they loved him. They reacted to him and stuff like that. Number 2 is Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker comes out. He gets attacked by a guy in a mask. And he gets kicked, and then a lot of people's like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Then when the curb stomp happened, people went crazy. Oh, it's Seth. It got to be Seth. And then the masked person just jumped the barricade and ran. The security tried to grab him and missed him. So Paul saying it's Seth. Obviously, it's probably Seth. It's just not Seth, if that makes sense. I don't think Seth probably made it, or they probably changed stuff around. Who knows? You know when you can know? When they show the episode of Unreal and say, they changed stuff. Because they're going to do that. They're going to incorporate every mistake, every shenanigan, everything that happens. They're going to try to change it and say, well, we did this because of that. Just disrespecting fans. That masked person threw Braun in before he left, and as soon as the bell rung, Oba eliminated Braun. Oba was just on the tirade. Oba eliminated Ray. He eliminated Solo. He eliminated, oh my gosh, he eliminated so many people. And I thought it was a good showing for Obafemi. Eventually, other guys came in, Javon and Trick and stuff like that. And I think all 3 of these guys, Trick, Javon, and Oba, they had a great showing for what they can do. Javon stayed in longer than those guys. He got eliminated near the end of the Royal Rumble, but I thought that they all did good. Javon almost slipped and got eliminated himself, like he jumped on the ropes or something, and he kind of went past it, and he caught himself. Thank God he caught himself, but still, I thought that it was pretty good for what they were doing. Eventually, Cody and a lot of other people started showing up. Oba was showing stuff and everything. And I'm going to say this too, because this also happened in the women's Royal Rumble. We don't need to see all these German suplexes as soon as people come in. Everything doesn't need to be duck a line, German, 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 German. We don't need that. Also, sidebar, going back to the women's Royal Rumble match, I love Natty Neidhart's position and what she was doing in there. She eliminated Becky after Becky eliminated Maxine, but they had Natty look like a killer, and Natty eliminated Becky, which was like one of the highlights of Natty's Royal Rumble stuff. So shout out to Natty. Back to the men's Royal Rumble. We saw a graphic. It said Powerhouse Hobbs on it, and I was like, oh snap! They're gonna let him keep Powerhouse Hobbs, and then it broke into Royce Keys, and that's Powerhouse Hobbs, the WWE name. Now Royce is the name of one of his sons, and he wants to use that name, and I ain't mad at it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hopefully they say Powerhouse Royce or Powerhouse House Keys or Royce Keys. It all works. Now he came in, he had a great showing. He picked up people, eliminated people, and things like that. They obviously see big things in him. I thought we were going to see a face-off between Royce and Oba, but we did not. Eventually, Brock Lesnar did show up. Brock showed up, had a couple face-offs with Oba. I think like the third face-off, it looked a little awkward or whatever like that. He was like, Oba tried to clothesline Brock. Brock ducked it, and then Oba did look like he was out of place or out of spot. I don't know if Brock forgot something or if Oba forgot something, but he definitely was looking like, what the heck's supposed to be happening? And then eventually Oba did hit him with the clothesline or whatever. You know, Brock came in, German suplex city, suplex a lot of people and stuff. Oh, LA Knight, he was in there. LA Knight had a big reaction. Like, LA Knight is definitely one of those guys that the fans are not going to get tired of. I don't feel like WWE wants people to forget about him, but they just love LA Knight. And I don't think that they realize that LA Knight is just one of those guys that people love and stuff like that. And I said they do Drew and LA Knight wrong, but they're definitely doing LA Knight more wrong because Drew is a champion now. But still, around the time Oba and Brock was locking up, the feed to the show went out. And by the time I got back on, Oba, aka Noba was not there no more, and Brock wasn't there. So I had to ask Arshawn, shout out to him, and he told me how they were eliminated, and saying like basically Oba was eliminated by Brock, which I don't have a problem with. But he said LA Knight and Cody double clothesline Brock out. I'm like, okay, okay. Eventually, Roman came out, Jay came out. Jacob Fatu came out, the Vision and them, they came out, Bronson and Logan Paul and stuff and all that. And, they got eliminated. They worked together, eliminated people and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like chaos just started happening. When Jacob came out, Cody did a dive out and it was fighting. Roman wanted Jay to run it back with the just me, Oos. Then he attacked him. Like, family just didn't care about nothing. Somebody said, what bloodline? Bloodline where? They're going to be clotheslined over the top rope because I'm trying to win this Royal Rumble and stuff like that. Like I said, it was very interesting. Near the end, it was just a lot of fast eliminations, and there's nothing really wrong with that. Jacob tried to eliminate Cody. Cody tried to get up by skimming the cat, and then all of a sudden, Drew hit a Claymore on Cody, and then Cody was eliminated. At first, I thought it was Roman because Roman does the drive-by. I remember he did the drive-by. I thought it was Roman. I was like, dang, Roman, did you really get under the rope to hit him with a drive-by? But it was actually a Claymore. And while Jacob was looking at Drew because he was mad at Drew for doing that, Roman eliminated Jacob. Gunther, I believe, eliminated Randy. And the way Randy fell over, I was like, dang, I thought Randy could have held on to the ropes and wrestled some more if he wanted to. The last two was Roman and Gunther. Now, I thought Gunther was going to win. Now, a lot of people, and Gunther was number 32. A lot of people were speculating that Jericho was going to come back. Jericho did not come back. It was Gunther, and Gunther was limping, selling the match from his match against AJ earlier in the night. So I really thought that Gunther was going to win it because the runner-up stuff and all of that stuff, but he did not. Roman speared him and eliminated him. So now Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania to main event again. He's been doing this for the past 10 years. He's been main eventing for the past 10 years. And this is crazy because, like I said yesterday, he was saying, "Oh well, this is the problem. Is y'all don't create new stars," and then he's in the main event. Now I'm not blaming Roman by all means. By all means, I'm not blaming Roman for what they wanted him to do. Right? Not doing that. But jeez, man, y'all could at least gave it to Gunther. At least it would have gave him something to do instead of just retiring people or whatever like that. But that goes even to when the women's Royal Rumble. Have somebody new win it. This is Roman's second Royal Rumble win. Yeah, he's the second one. So still, also, the original Americano came back. Chad Gable, he came back, and they did the Spider-Man meet with him and the other one. They didn't have a long time in the match. He eliminated the imposter, and then somebody eliminated him. But still, Roman winning and main event again, it just shows how corporate WWE is, though, as well. They already have speculation of Roman and Cody going against each other at WrestleMania. I don't think that's going to happen. Shouldn't happen. But still, WWE is not owned by wrestlers anymore. It's owned by a corporation who should say that. And then also the cities that are putting bids in for them to show up, they also have input in who can do what and what they want to see. And they'll be like, okay, well, we'll do it. And that's exactly what they happen. What are they doing with Ray Phoenix? They chumping him out. See, the thing is, he's not tagging with his brother. So, and his brother is just like up there. You see, they say have high things for his brother. And it's nothing against Ray Phoenix, but, him being called Ray, his name is Ray Phoenix. You wear a mask and you're the second Ray in the company. That's also, these are things to think about too, as well. We know that sometimes companies have quotas, right? They have a lot of luchador wrestlers, right? They have a lot of them. But now you in a double jeopardy because you're a masked wrestler, but also your first name is Ray. And everybody knows the first one is Rey Mysterio. It's weird, but I know exactly what I'm saying when I say these kind of things or whatever like that. You got Dragon Lee, you got Penta, you got Rey Mysterio, you got Rey Phoenix, the Americanos. They're like a parody more than anything, but still, a lot of match wrestlers and stuff like that. So still, Roman winning it is like, it is what it is. I did enjoy the men's Royal Rumble more than the women's. I know a lot of people would say that the women's was better. I do think that the men's had more excitement to it than the women's one. Honestly, I think they had more, somewhat of an excitement. Um, Curious to see if Roman's going to run it back with Drew, or is he going to go against CM Punk? I don't know. Do I want to see Roman and CM Punk? No. Do I want to see Roman and Drew McIntyre? No. We've seen Drew and Roman so many times before. We've seen this so many times before. So Drew is either going to go against Jacob or Cody at WrestleMania. And I think he should face Jacob, and I think Jacob should win against Drew if Jacob does. But if Drew wins past it, or just let's have Drew have a longer championship run. Let him be the Scottish psychopath. Let him have a longer run. Let him have his WrestleMania moment at WrestleMania as a champion and lead. Roman versus CM Punk, it's gonna sell. It's gonna sell a lot of money. They could say the best in the world gets a tribal chief. It's gonna be something. Actually, I do think the match will be good. I think it'll be good because these guys are fast-paced wrestlers. I know a lot of people feel like CM Punk still got it, but he barely holding on by a thread when it comes to wrestling skills and stuff. But he knows how to do it. He's a great worker. They showed more love to Dragon Lee, had him looking good tonight. Yeah, they did. And his interest was bomb. I don't know, man. It could be something else. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I preferred the men's too by a small margin. Yeah, it didn't blow the women's match out the water or nothing like that, but I think like with the women that they had with the NXT and all of that stuff, and they had a few. I believe they had a few guys from NXT. Did they? I don't think they did. I'm trying to remember. No, I don't think so. But still, it was good. They moving the belt off Drew. I do feel like Drew McIntyre is a transitional champion to somebody else. They just didn't want Cody to lose to anybody else, so let's lose to Drew McIntyre, who had to basically have help by Jacob Fatu because he attacked Drew and then attacked Cody. Honestly, the title change was stupid. It still was stupid. To me, it's still stupid. It's stupid to me, right? It's so stupid. It's so stupid to me. It's stupid, stupid, stupid. Because the more I think about it, the more I'll be talking about why I want to check out. So you mean to tell me that Drew was actually about to win anyway? He was leaving the cage. Jacob shows up, attacks Drew, put the paws on Drew. And instead of Cody, I don't know, climbing the cage, or just saying, hey, excuse me, guys, I want to get out and keep my belt. You grab Jacob, and Jacob steals off on you, and Jacob starts beating you up to the fact that he forgot his hatred for Drew McIntyre, and Drew just rolls out the ring. Stupid. Horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. I talked to my homie Drew about it too, and Drew, he's not big on Drew McIntyre winning it. It's funny, my homie name is Drew, and we speak about Drew. Shout out to Drew, love that dude. But still, we're talking about the situation because of what they did. But still, I do feel like Drew is more of a transitional champion. As far as the PLE goes, would I have been happy to subscribe to ESPN to watch it? I guess. I'm still not going to because it has to be a consistent thing, and they are very, very consistent with being inconsistent when it comes to certain things. Elimination Chamber is the final stop to the road to the WrestleMania, right? And we'll see exactly where it goes. It feels crazy because I feel like WrestleMania 41 was just yesterday, and we already setting up for 42. So maybe it's because I haven't watched all the PLEs. Maybe it's because like I've been checking out, but hey, it's very, very quick. So we'll see where it goes from here. What did you guys think of Royal Rumble? Could it have been better? One of the things I said could have been better was just the winners. Like at least have somebody new. Like throw a wrench into people's plans. Because even then, I'm looking at posts that people already predicted that Liv and Roman was going to win. Posts from like 5 days ago and stuff like that. So we'll see where it goes from here. Shout out to y'all though. I am out. I hope you guys and gals have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Say it again, Cam. Say it. Let's take it home. Thank you.